Hello everyone, and welcome to Divine Debut. This is Kathy speaking. How are you all? The messenger is here as we are reading the energies through the tarot, but also looking at the stars, my dear friends. Today is the 28th of September of 2023, and the moon is transiting through Pisces. It's coming up to Neptune, the moon through Pisces, so it's a very sensitive time. Did you have any dreams last night? I had a lot of dreams, messages that were not just, it wasn't things that I've been thinking about. I know they were messages. As the moon transits through Pisces, it does bring a lot of messages through my dream state. So how did last night go for you? The moon is in opposition to Mercury, transiting through Virgo. Mercury still in his shadow phase, as is soon to come out of that. So Mercury is the details, Mercury is the logic. And the moon can speak to our emotions, things that were hidden, and the moon is coming up to Neptune. So maybe through your dream state, through synchronicities, there may be some logic, or there may be a possibility to clear the air pertaining to relationships, because there will be sudden revelations, says Venus from Leo, squaring over to Uranus. Let's see what the Karma Dharma is today. We've got Seek and we've got the Hermit. So we are seeing the light. This is a Virgo energy. I was just talking about Mercury, the ruling planet of Virgo. Some of you are seeking wisdom from a teacher, from someone who's into mysticism, tarot reading, astrology, or it's your higher self. Some of you may have been seeking questions if there hasn't been any communication or any news. Remember, Mercury has been recently turned direct in Virgo, and Virgo could speak to matters of health or our daily life or anything to do with practical matters and work. We are seeking some answers, some clarity. The finger of God, the Yod, which is a very rare configuration, which is happening right now. It's pointing from Venus in Leo, Mars in Libra, and it's pointing to the moon. And the moon is connected to Venus and Mars through an inconjunction, which is all about adjustments, dilemmas. But the finger of God, the Yod, is pointing to the moon that is heading towards Neptune. And Neptune could be the vision, could be anything that we are creating, anything that was an illusion, anything that was pertaining to deception and lies. Let's see what the energies are speaking to today, as we are just on the verge of a full moon happening in Aries. So we are in the energy of the full moon, which is going to be, it's going to be a Mars-ruled full moon, and a full moon is always quite stressful. So remember, Aries is I, me, I. Opposite is Libra, us. So it does speak to partnerships and relationships. This full moon is pointing to April, to the last eclipse that we had. One of the two last eclipses. It was a new moon that was a solar eclipse on the 20th of April. That was a solar eclipse and a new moon in Aries, which is now culminating and completing. What was going on for you around that time? Let's see what the messages are pertaining to this full moon, as we are in the energies of the full moon. Remember, the sign of Aries is where the North Node is. Now, right opposite is Mars, and not only is Mars there, but so is Eris, the goddess of discord, stress, pushbacks, and troubles. And I've just seen on the news just a little while ago in Sydney, down under, which is where I'm from, people have taken to the street and they are pushing back on inflation and the price of the cost of living, the cost of rentals, land, purchasing a home. It's just gone over the top. So that's what Aries is, and Aries is on the south node there with, no, not on the south node, sorry, on the north node with Chiron close by and the north node. So Aries is actually opposite Mars. Aries and Mars in mythology, brother and sister. So this could also be opposition from people that are your tribe, people that you feel are like siblings or your relatives or your family. So really, really interesting, where there are disagreements and oppositions and arguments between siblings that could be also coming through. And we'll be taking the mythic oracle and see what the gods have got to say. So let's see, dear Spirit, thank you for your guidance. Thank you. Let's see what the energies are like today. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. Things to do with work or putting in the effort. Happy birthday, dear Libra, if you are celebrating your birthday today. Very close to this full moon. You'll be taking, obviously, this full moon will be affecting your whole year ahead. Okay, so you are going through a major culmination, some sort of an ending in the area of Aries. Okay, Aries, which area of your life does that, pertain to? Eight of Pentacles, so work or possibly details or even putting in effort. This could also be the ability to see clearly where there was something that was unclear. That's through our higher self and through putting effort in. So two Virgo cards. We've got the Death card, which is some sort of an ending, a major transformation. Scorpio comes through. Scorpio is the natural 8th house, which can speak to money that comes through from others. I don't know if this is some sort, for some of you, this could possibly be an argument pertaining to some sort of inheritance, anything to do with money that comes through from taxes, something to do with tax debt or money that's owed to you, money from your partner. A large amount of money, that is, possibly as well. We've got the Chariot, two major arcana cards here. A lot of water, Scorpio and Cancer. Now, obviously, this full moon is in square, is challenging the Cancerian energy here. Cancer can speak to the home, matters to do with the family or the past. But there's some sort of an ending here. Remember, we did say the full moon is a culmination and a completion point. And the Chariot is usually a victory card or someone being put in a position to take, to drive that chariot forward. So drive that situation moving forward. This could be a change of jobs, change of homes, something to do with a decision, a dilemma, short distance or long distance travel for some of you. We've got the Devil, so we've got Cancer, Capricorn. Interesting. Cancer speaks to the past and the home and our personal life. Capricorn speaks to our goals and our aspirations and, career as well. It does speak to blockages, it does speak to rules and regulations, but it also speaks to a karmic cycle. So, interesting. There's some sort of a metamorphosis, and I hope that this is the ending of some sort of a challenging cycle, some sort of karma that's been blocking the forward momentum. Now, this can also say that there is accomplishment here. I mean, the Devil is Capricorn. It's like having the ability to climb the ladder, to succeed in something, because, of course, it's Capricorn is leadership. Capricorn is holding a position above others. It speaks to leaders. It also speaks to a strong desire, but can also speak to narcissism and being stuck in a cycle. Let's see what comes after that. We've got the High Priestess. Trust your intuition. The High Priestess has been coming through very, very strongly the past few days. So 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards. That's incredible. The High Priestess. Virgo, Pisces energy. Again, things to do with practical matters. Emotional matters, things that are hidden. You know, this could also speak to third parties and love affairs, because the devil speaks to strong passion, being connected to someone, you know, through an inability to break those chains, let's say, with something that is unhealthy or something that is not on the up and up, right? Because the High Priestess many times could be a third party. Pisces, of course, speaks to an ending again of the cycle. Remember what I said, the moon is transiting through Pisces right now. So use your intuition. We've got Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio here. If that's not strong intuition, then I don't know what is. Use your intuition pertaining to practical matters. Capricorn, Virgo here. Things to do with your security, your finances as well. And we've got the Four of Wands, which is the marriage card. It's a card of celebration. It's a card of coming together with your tribe, with your family. Remember, we are not reading reversals here. And the Four of Wands is like an open portal. It's just like the eclipses are, which they're just around the corner. Remember, this full moon is... you know, until the next lunation cycle is going to be a solar eclipse and a new moon. So that's really interesting, right? And we're going to have a solar eclipse in Libra. In Libra, my dear friends, which is right opposite to this full moon now. But pay attention, what's culminating now may also be connected to March of next year, because this full moon, which is happening at the 6th degree of Aries, next March, toward 25th of March, we're going to have a full moon in Libra, and that's going to be a lunar eclipse right opposite where this full moon is now. So pay attention, okay? We've got the Seven of Cups. There's the Neptunian energy and the moon on Neptune. Five of Swords could speak to competition, challenges, verbal fights. Remember, Aries could be hot-headed. That's the shadow side, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is in Libra, so he's very frustrated. This is a time of clearing the slate. This is a time of clearing our lives of relationships that were not meant to be with us, not meant to stay with us. Remember that the Hermit is, I'm seeing the light. It is a 9, so we're at some sort of a culmination and an ending before, because the number after, the card after the Hermit is the Wheel of Fortune, which speaks to divine timing. It's like the hand of spirit, right? It's like something is starting, because tens do speak to aces. So a moment before the freedom, a moment before, you know, a last bit of advice or going within. Remember that full moons are more emotional, they're more internal. So seeing the light from within, take a deep breath, take a step back. Do not take part in any of this sort of energy, because we're going to feel that there is the Wheel of Fortune. We don't want to take any part of this. This could be internal, and it could come through as, you know, blurting out what's on our mind. Aries, the energy of Aries is, I do feel, obviously cardinal fire, I want to initiate, I want to start something, and I'm needing to look at my own, to be happy within myself. Maybe I've given too much across to Libra, which is the other people. I've sacrificed too much for others and I'm not happy myself. Maybe you're feeling a sense of injustice at this time. Try and steer away from this sort of energy. Try and take some time out, meditate. Whatever will be clear or showing up to us can bring us into this energy. Something is going to change. Something is possibly meant to come to an ending here. So run with the energies. Just try and take a couple of steps back. Don't take part in any arguments, because that is very, very likely at this time, because of frustration, injustices, people being sensitive, people being selfish. Let's look at the Lenormand and see what's going on. This could also, yes, of course, this could be a secret love affair, surely, with the Devil here and with the High Priestess and with the Marriage card, surely. What's going on, dear Spirit, around this full moon in Aries? We've got something to do with stability, business, or something to do with a marriage or a commitment. Remember that Venus and Juno, they're conjoining and they're squaring over to Uranus. So Uranus speaks to breaking free, breaking those chains from maybe a commitment that was not true, that was deceptive, possibly. This could be enlightenment pertaining to third parties, possibly also just, gossip, and it could be amongst friends, it could be amongst family, it could be amongst siblings. Look, we've got the dice here, so something to do with taking a risk pertaining to someone's stability, even business, rolling the dice, taking a chance. Remember, Venus and Juno are in Leo, and Leo is about taking a chance. Where matters of heart are concerned, but there's confusion and there's illusion and there's a sense of loss here, or a lot of clouded stuff, like getting into a situation that's hard to come out of. Too many people being involved here, going around in cycles, not finding a way out. I would say that Uranus squaring over to Venus will help us find a way out. We've also got 3 birds here, and the 3 birds can speak to gossip, social media. Look, we're at a portal, just like the 1111 here. There's a number 22, which is a path, and it's a portal that opens. Choices and opportunities, possibly decisions that are difficult to make. Decision with travel, with movement, but also a change of home. And the path speaks to Venus in Libra. So Venus in Libra is all about peace, tranquility, I think that we need to take the middle ground, use that Libran energy, which is trying to find the middle ground, and not being just in the I, me, my, or the us. I think that we need to be very diplomatic at this time. Diplomacy is much needed. It is a breaking point right now, this full moon, especially where partnerships and relationships are concerned. Decisions will be difficult, but there will be opportunities here. And the compass is like showing us north, which way we need to go. So some of us may be stuck in the past, stuck in a past situation pertaining to a lack of equal giving and receiving, the south node, right? That's where Mars is. And we also need to speak up where there's been injustices. Speak up, but speak in an intelligent way. Can we do that? Can we speak up in a diplomatic way? Is that possible? Because reaching the North Node, so, you know, after all the sacrifice, I mean, Pisces is sacrifice, right? Pisces is also illusion, though. And where there's been illusion and deception and sacrifice, and that has not been returned, maybe it's a time to now start to look at ourselves, take the energy of Aries. Hopefully not through chaos and discord. And it is about partnerships. It is about a love connection. It is about, if it's not a divine union, then it's about siblings. It could be twins. I mean, we see two swans here. So the sign of Gemini also comes through. We've got the two staircases here. We've got the two dice here. And we've got the two swans here. We've got a high priestess, which is a number 2. Torn between two decisions, two different people. Two choices. Go with what gives you fun. Go with what it adds a little bit of play, a little bit of happiness. Now, the dog can speak to friendship, but it also speaks to loyalty. It speaks to support. And why do I say support? We see the little puppy here, so cute in this deck. Absolutely. He's holding his leash. It's like he's waiting for someone to take him, to lead him. So, and yes, this can speak to pets, okay? Some sort of a decision pertaining to a pet. Now, the dog also speaks to something to do with a long-lasting situation. Being obedient, being disobedient, being devoted still, holding on and waiting for that friendship, or being a follower or being a leader. Where are your loyalties? Maybe this is a question that we need to ask ourselves today. Let's take some Sibilas on this Four of Wands. And I would like to read from the book. I want to thank you all. Sorry about that. I want to thank you all yesterday for joining me on the premiere of the Twin Flame Soulmate Wednesday reading. We are taking cards, 3 cards, on your questions. Some of you may not want to share your personal questions, so you just comment under that video, not under this video, with a yes please, or you may ask your personal question and I will be taking 3 cards. So the question should be a yes or no question, because I've got a deck, I've got a couple of decks where I'm giving you yes, no, or don't know answers, right? So I'm taking 3 cards for you. Keep those coming and I will get back to you. Love to hear your comments as well. How did you enjoy that? Let's look at this Four of Wands. What's this about? Four of Wands, which is connected to the High Priestess and the Devil. So this is a karmic, this could be a spiritual connection. This could also be another choice. Now we've got L'Amante, the Knight of Cups. This is Romeo. Some sort of a romantic offer. We do have a Mika, and it's the Four of Wands. And Amika does bring up the Libra energy for me, which speaks to balance and harmony. It could also speak to a friend that's coming to your rescue to help you, to aid you. But this could also be, for some of you, marrying a friend that's turning into a love partner. But also where legalities are concerned, connected to a home, to a family, to a marriage. This is like an offer for peace, for balance. A white flag, someone's raising a white flag. But still there's distrust here with the domestical. I absolutely hate the domestical. Let's take one more, because this is like distrust pertaining to someone that's very close to you. Someone maybe that you trusted, you thought was your friend. Okay, maybe this could also be either something about finding out the truth, where there has been deception, illusion, a friend turning into a foe, or a disillusionment and a misunderstanding I'm going to get here. And we've got the Militare, the Ten of Swords, which is like a betrayal. The Militare is like secrecy, some sort of an ending, a difficult ending. And we've got the Capricorn energy. We know that the Militare is holding on to secrets. He's not sharing his what kind of a project or what kind of an uphill battle he's going through. So this is like someone not sharing their grievances or their hardships or any tactics that they use to win over a situation, to reach the top of that mountain, to reach success. So using any sort of means to achieve something, which can relate, and I do get a sense of sacrificing a family member, someone's peace, their own peace, a peaceful resolution, because of some sort of obligation or challenge that they're facing. This could also speak to health matters with the Hermit, which can also speak to a doctor, a psychologist, even a detective, someone doing their detective work, finding something out pertaining to third parties, deception, gossip. Let's take one more on that Militare, because it's the Ten of Swords, which turns into the Ace, of course. And then we've got the Viaggio. Something to do with a meeting, some sort of a voyage, or the Knight in Shining Armor. We've got two knights here, similar to the Knight of Cups, or similar to, again, the Knight of Cups or Knight of Wands, which can speak to travel, possible movement, taking action, something to do with long distance. It's the Three of Wands. This looks like a challenging meeting, needing to meet in the middle, getting over any deception or lack of trust or illusion or misconception. Let's take one more. We've got the Pensiero, Six of Pentacles. The Pensiero is the Hermit. Or it's someone that's thinking very carefully about contracts, doing the Virgo thing, discerning, looking at the details. Mercury is very, very powerful at this time in Virgo. Six of Pentacles also speaks to a payout, paying money out, waiting on receiving some money. This could be, again, something to do with legalities, right? A marriage counselor, a solicitor, a lawyer. What's at the bottom? We've got the Ace of Swords, dispiacere. Something coming to light which may be a little bit challenging. Someone is displeased with something that's clearing. Something to do with a, double-edged sword. Yes, for some of you, this could be tears of sadness. Others, it could be tears of happiness. We do have the Child, so It could have to do with something new, a new cycle. It could be a literal child. We see the child here and the couple. So something to do with possible separation and divorce, the child being in the middle, fighting for a child. What else can I say? This is what I'm feeling. Let's take 3 Mystic Moon Oracles. 3 Mystic Moon Oracles. Thank you, Spirit. Today, the 28th of September, we've got the Mask. Very Piscean energy. We've got the cycles. Usually with this card, I do see it is the, Capricorn energy. I should say the Saturnian energy. Saturn also rules Aquarius, not only Capricorn. So let's not give the bad rap to Capricorn. Saturn is the taskmaster, and he's not only a challenging teacher, but he's also a very rewarding energy. So let's not see Saturn as, the worst case scenario, because sometimes Neptune, my dear friends, Neptune can be even more challenging. So some sort of a cycle where there's some sort of a surprise. It's like I get from this card like the ending of a particular cycle that we've been falling into again and again. It's like the resolution of some karma. And we've got refocus. And we do see a child on a horse here. Interesting. Something to do with a child that likes to ride horses. We do see a couple. Oh, we've got the Knight of Wands here, which is a horse. We see usually horses in the chariot as well. Something to do with horse riding, movement, travel, transition as well. Something is being refocused, re-looked at, and there is the Neptune energy, which is like the dream or the vision board. We've got the ability to dream, create, but also remember the signs and synchronicities through meditation. This is the Muse card. And we see a divine masculine on top of the clouds. It looks like they were contemplating something pertaining to maybe their higher self. We see them above the clouds. So having the clarity, but where practical matters, physical matters pertaining to the earth and physical matters pertaining to reality, they are clouded, but they're seeing things from a higher perspective through more a magical point of view, a more creative, more romantic perspective, and possibly a new direction that is opening up. So the ability through thought, through our higher self, be able to create that dream, or maybe even clear the cloudedness. Yeah? Healing. What is this refocus about, dear Spirit? What is this refocus about? The barrier, something to do with restrictions, blockages, rules and regulations. So it's like retweaking a situation, finding a block, but then figuring out a way around that block. Remember Uranus. Uranus can bring us those bright ideas, and Uranus can break through any barriers. And Uranus is squaring over to Venus, which could be love, money, peace, values, self-worth. Okay? So let's have a look. Let's have a look and see. It's interesting here that we've got large numbers, 22, 24, 35, 39, 42, 43. Large numbers. Now these could be anything. They could be ages, someone being at a particular age, but usually larger numbers are more about a more mature situation, not something that is new. Yeah? Dear Spirit, dear gods, What is the advice today? Now this is the mythic oracle of the ancient Greek pantheon. And we love our mythology here at Divine Debut 11. So we haven't used this for a while. Dear Spirit, please guide us on this full moon, around this full moon. What is the message? And I want to read from the Hermit as well. Let's see. We've got Kronos and cycles. Wow. But it is an ace. Wow, it totally ties in. Remember this, the moon right now is in Pisces. And Pisces is also where Saturn is. So the moon has passed over Kronos. And remember, Kronos, Saturn could be the dissolving of any boundaries pertaining to our dream. But we could also look at it in the other way, where because Kronos is those foundations and the boundaries, we could start to sort of build on that dream, which is Neptune, right? Let's see. Let's read the... Where is it? The Seek. So with Kronos here and of course the Saturnian card here, we're refocusing, and I feel that because the Scythe does speak to the Death card as well, there's something that we're cutting out of our life which has brought in blockages or timing, or because it is called cycles, right? So cutting something unhealthy, an unhealthy situation, person, maybe even an obligation, maybe even relationships that were unhealthy and we were stuck in, so that we could have that new beginning. Remember, it is an ace, but let's read the Seek card, number 9. It is a love oracle, so let's see what's going on where emotions are concerned. Sometimes individuals become so engrossed in a relationship or in wanting a relationship that all perspective is lost. The relationship becomes their world and they lose sight of themselves. This card suggests that now is the time to take a step back, either from a relationship or from the desire for one, and go on an internal quest to rediscover yourself. Now, dear friends, this is exactly the full moon in Aries, which is thyself, and Libra opposite is your relationships. One of my favorite sayings is, there can't be a we until there is a me. If this resonates with you, it's time to have a dialogue with your higher self and your guides about who you are and what you really need in life. You may be surprised by the answers. This is also a good time to physically retreat from your busy life and relationships. Attending a spiritual retreat would be optimal. However, simply finding some time for solitude and introspection can be just as beneficial. Take a walk in nature, quiet your mind, and listen for messages from the birds and trees. Give yourself the gift of daily 5-minute meditations. Pull a card from the deck and sit with the card's image, seeking its deeper meaning for you about what role relationships play in your life. You may feel that you need assistance in your quest for greater understanding regarding what you need in a relationship, or even how to handle a specific relationship. Find a guide or mentor who is knowledgeable in matters of the heart and converse with that person. The affirmation is, I take time for solitude and introspection. Okay, so taking time out on this full moon is advised. Let's look at number 1. So we've got an ace. The myth of Kronos. Kronos is the father of Zeus and many of the Olympian gods, the son of Gaia and Uranus. He is a god of harvest and vegetation, and carries a sickle. He was told that he would be overcome by one of his children, and out of great fear he swallowed each child as soon as he or she was born. His wife Rhea, in deep sorrow, tricked him, instead feeding him a stone in the place of Zeus, allowing Zeus to be hidden and raised in safety. When Zeus had reached maturity, Kronos was deceived into freeing his swallowed children, and, led by Zeus, they waged war on him until he was overthrown. So Zeus, obviously, he also saved his siblings from the stomach of his father Kronos, who had swallowed all his children. So that's why Zeus became the king of the gods. This is why Kronos represents cycles, and although the period of his reign was known as the Golden Age, and he was a great king, it was his fear of cycles and change that led to his eventual demise. And just speaking of the Golden Age, my dear friends, that age was full of abundance. If you think that Kronos is stingy, because he can be, even though Jupiter is about expansion and growth, Kronos is about retracting and loss and even death many times. But Kronos can also reward us with great abundance, even more than what Jupiter can, believe it or not. The message for us today is, throughout nature there are cycles, including the cycles that exist within our own lives. All things change, and when we embrace and flow with these changes, they enrich both our lives and our experience of life. Change can be frightening, but it is only once you accept change that new life is made possible. When we resist the natural cycles of change, we become tyrannical, clinging to the old order, and a deadness sets in, followed by bitterness, frustration, fear, and anxiety. My dear friends, this is exactly, we know that Kronos takes a position of power. He does speak to the elite and those who want to keep the power and not let go, and take the power from the masses, from the people. So on a collective scale, this is like a new cycle that is beginning. Remember, it speaks to tyrannical clinging to the old order. That's getting stuck in the past and no change, which is what Uranus through Taurus is trying to bring. A breaking free. Yes, a transition towards our future, but not something that's tyrannical and that's keeping us stuck in the past. Because a deadness sets in, followed by bitterness, frustration, fear, and anxiety. There's the word frustration. So if you're stuck in a tyrannical, controlling relationship, job, family, whatever this is, it's time to break free from that. Because Kronos uses his scythe, that's like the Ace of Swords, which is on the dispiacere here. When we flow with our changing selves and changing place within the world, we remain connected to life, nature, and ourselves. This is a time for you to review the cycles in your life. Have you become stuck? Are you trying to hold on to things you should let go of? Are you afraid of moving into the next phase of your life? It may be time to stop, feel the fear, and move forward anyway. It is time to embrace the natural cycles of your life and realize that although you may need to let go of your old identity and habits, and this can be frightening, you will find much joy, power, and wisdom when you embrace the new cycles you are moving into. Speaking of cycles and bad habits, dear friends, this is what Mercury is trying to help us heal through Virgo. Okay, because the Virgo-Pisces axis could be unhealthy habits. Okay, they could be emotional, they could be physical, they could be what we feed ourselves, right? Things that we do on a practical, daily basis. We fear our mortality, yet it is this fear that leads to our deadening. You will gain a new sense of life when you embrace your cycles with joy, and it is imperative now to grieve the old ways and let them go. Open your arms to the new life and possibilities that await you and move forward with power, joy, and wisdom. Okay, so that was today's message. Now, of course, Saturn is transiting through Pisces, but also remember Saturn rules Capricorn, and that's where Pluto is. And remember that Pluto also, because Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, the Scorpio cards we see the scythe. So there is an affiliation between Scorpio and so Pluto and Saturn, the ruling planets of Scorpio and Capricorn. But also remember, Mars also rules Scorpio, and Mars is now in Libra. So Mars is where we put our energy, what we strive to accomplish. But we're dealing with old matters now. We're dealing with the South Node. This is a South Node Mars, and Mars is connecting with something to do with the past. And it can be frustrating and it can be challenging. Okay, so it's time to do the work, I'm going to say. Time for a new beginning. Time to cut old habits, old negative cycles, maybe even anything that's holding us back from taking that leap of faith at this time, right? So we're going to have a solar eclipse in a couple of weeks in Libra. That's a new moon. That's an amplified new moon. It is in Libra, so new relationships or new fundamentals, new foundations that we are building within possibly also an old situation. So let's say that we are not all throwing out our relationships, our partnerships. We are tweaking and fixing and bringing into balance, which is Aries, Libra. Okay. Now, war is also very prominent with Mars on the South Node. The nodes are the collective, so it does affect many, many people. Let's hope that wars will not amplify and that they will, leaders will come to the table and be more democratic and be more diplomatic. So instead of going to war and using ammunition and people losing their lives, it's time to use words, intelligence, and pen and paper, right? So converse, use our mind, use our intellect, and use our intelligence to bring in peace. Peace is what's necessary in the world and in our lives, dear friends. All right, and with that, I will leave you. I want to thank you so much for connecting with me. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting always. I would love to hear your comments, of course, and you can also email me if there is something you want to share with me that you don't want to share with everyone else. So I do read all emails. Sending you all lots of love and lots of light. Talk to you soon, and happy full moon in Aries, my dear friends. Hopefully it will be a happy one. I love you lots.